This is our Light, Sound and the Earth and Beyond title, which is part of the Forwards with Science series for Key Stage 2 Science, although some of the screens are suitable for younger and indeed older pupils. Forwards with Science titles run on TextEase, and that means that you need TextEase on the computer in order to run any of these titles. If we go back onto this button here, click on there, and that gets us back to the opening screen for Light, Sound and the Earth and Beyond. I'll show you what some of the buttons do on the screen by clicking on them. This one here opens up an information screen. This is version 3.47, published in June 2012, and with a lot of thinking and mind screens in addition to the normal activities, the information screens and so on. Click here to find out about the buttons on the individual screens, and I'll come back to those again in a moment. If we get rid of that and we click on here, that opens a screen on how the eyes respond to light. Here we've got one on shadows. If we go onto this button, we can open the menu, the main menu, and if we go to that one there, the planets, and back again to there. If we click on this one, we open the first screen in the title. This is a useful activity for introducing the concept of light, and a good one as a homework activity, maybe on a Friday afternoon. The children can go home, discuss with their friends, with their siblings, parents, neighbours and so on, all the different things they can think of involving light, beginning with the different letters of the alphabet, and collate the information in school on a Monday morning and have a whiteboard activity on it. And maybe they'll be able to fill quite a few of these cells, if not even possibly all of them. Let us see how we can get on now then. We'll just put a few things in here. Thinking about that, let's do mobile phone here. It's something that a lot of the children might have. And again, if we didn't have any light in it, we wouldn't be able to see the display. Now we can either bring that up there to say that there is an electric light in it, or we can colour the individual cell and follow the guidelines that I've got here. Scroll down, we'll see a little bit more of that. And so here we are, we select a cell, we go into there, we go into here, we go into there, and we will colour that yellow because we are talking about an electric light, and there we are, a mobile phone. And we could do that with many of the other ones and end up with quite a nice grid with a lot of information on it, but also a lot of individual colours for electric light, combustion and reflection. And if we wanted to print that, then we would be able to go into print screen maybe and have a total record of that, including the colour and including the buttons and so on, and something that maybe when complete we could decide that we wanted to laminate and put up on the wall as a little bit of information for the children. Or if we decided to print it using that icon there, we would find that the background didn't print, the buttons didn't print, and of course this would only cover part of the page because down here we have more page for the children to add more information onto or complete another activity set by the teacher. So here we are, our activity book as well as our textbook. Now I don't think I've mentioned the task bar, so a good opportunity to do that now before we move on. As you can imagine, and this goes backwards and this one goes forwards, we know what that one does. That is the task button, an idea of what to do. That is the support button. That is the research button. That is the resource button. And this one will take you back to where you began on the opening screen. If we go onto here we have facts about light, and back onto there again, and here we have another screen, in this case suitable for the younger children, because here we have some more diagrams, drawings that we can put up there, and we can say, okay, that is combustion, and that is electricity, and so on until we've done them all. And of course we can add the writing to there as well. And go on from there and we'll say, okay, producing and reflecting light, a similar activity to the one we had before. I don't think we've mentioned this one before. That will give us a totally open-ended screen with the same buttons as the normal screen. For instance, that button and that button will give the same as before. Here we're talking about shadows and we're putting the hands in the right places. Now we're talking about the behaviour of light, and we have a card with a slot cut into it, and we're thinking what would happen if we face the torch forward, to the right or to the left, and again what would happen if we did the same thing using a mirror. Will it make any difference? And then we go into mirrors and their effect, and in this case we have some writing in here, and we could say, okay, what happens here? The object reflects light, and we can carry on and see what happens. The object reflects light, the mirror reflects light into the eye, we see an image of the object, and that's what we have to do there. If we go here, it says flip the objects by dragging one of the corners to the right or to the left, and that's what we'll do here. We'll take that one from there, we'll flip it over, and here we have an image. We've got the object here and the image there, and so on. Light enters our eyes, a similar activity with a little bit more information. And once again here, light from reflected by the rabbit, it is reflected by the mirror, reflected by this mirror, and back to the eye again. So effectively we may in fact be able to see around a corner, or we could use it below the sea, for instance, as in a submarine, to see what is on the surface. And here we have the text boxes, and what we have there is information to put there, or we can do free writing. So we see an image of the object, and light travels, and so on and so forth. How the eyes respond to light, a good activity for children. We can either switch the light off and then on again after a few seconds and get the children to see what happens by looking through a mirror, or we can get the children to pair up and look into each other's eyes and close their eyes. We might be tempted to say for 10 minutes, but perhaps a minute or half a minute would be enough. And when they open their eyes, they can see what happens, what the pupils do, whether they change or not. And that is a nice activity. And of course they can write in the text boxes what happened. Seeing things, an information screen about the eyes, click on here and we see what happens. Click on there, and once again we can see what is happening, and the same buttons, similar buttons there. Parts of the eye, we can label that, and once again we've got the support button here. And this is a good little one to use on the whiteboard. If we move that out of the way and we colour code them, that goes there, and so on, and we can see what happens in each part. And of course we can check once again with the answer of the support button. Parts of the eye and their jobs, another one that we can use the support button to check. I give the eye its shape, I do this, I do that, I do the other, and a nice little role play exercise. Hearing things, likewise, and again likewise, and again likewise. Sound waves, right, what do we have here? Can we match the sentence beginnings and endings that we have in here? Well, we will try. The pitch of a note depends on its frequency. There's the first one done, and there's a little bit of information there. Does anything happen when we do that? No. High and low pitch, and what we have here are waves to put in the right place, so we drag them out and we decide where they are going to go. And here we have a similar activity, loud and quiet notes, high crests, a loud sound, and so what we're looking for is crests from there, and we carry on from here. High pitch, loud note, low pitch, and so on. And here we have a Venn diagram comparing pitch and loudness, and another activity there for doing the same thing. Here, pitch and musical instruments. Well, children can be very handy in this one because so many of them nowadays do play instruments. So we could say, Sophie, you play the trumpet, and perhaps you can tell us how to obtain a note on it and how to change the pitch. Josh, you play the guitar. Perhaps you can tell us how to obtain a note and change the pitch. Sky, you play the drums. And once again, Sky will be able to say how she plays the drums and how she obtains a note and how she changes the pitch and the loudness. And then we go into this one. And here, a lot of measuring here because we are in fact making a simple wind instrument. And, we might find, Thomas, you play the flute. Thomas will be very handy here because he knows how to blow into a bottle in order to get a good sound. And so Thomas can help out with that one. And here we go here again, things to say the same, things to change, and evaluating the experiment and thinking in terms of a fair test. Here we are, changing pitch and loudness, similar thing, making it higher, making the sound louder. Day and night, the same sort of thing here. What we're doing is pulling these over, deciding whether they're in the right place, having a look here and seeing if they are. And of course, teacher may be busy with somebody else, and we don't need teacher because we can check our own answers. Here, the time of day, and we put the clocks in the right places. Here again, the time of day, shadows. We do an experiment here, and we measure the length of the stick, the length of the shadow, and so on. Here, the sun, the earth, and the moon. And here, more information here. We put the moons in the right place. Do we know where to put them? Well, we're not sure, but we can check, and we can learn as we're checking. Periodic changes, some text boxes to fill in there. Our events, getting up in the morning. We do every day. Monthly, well, there's a full moon every month. Weekly, maybe we go swimming. Annual, well, do we have a birthday? Yes, I think we do, and so on. And here we go into seasons of the year. And this is an interesting one because we're thinking in terms of the spring, summer, autumn and winter, and associated with that is a word, well, seasonal words, associated words in fact. And here we have a word bank, and we're thinking, right, which is which, spring, autumn, winter, and we're finding the appropriate words to complete that. And once again, the same sort of activity here, but done in a slightly different way. The planets. 8 planets. Now we want to name them, and we might think that that is Mercury, and so we go on to there and we press it. Now there's nothing here to tell the children whether they're right or not, apart from clicking on here. And if they do that, fine. Nothing bounces back, nothing says you're wrong. And so these screens are in fact very good from the assessment point of view as well. And there we are. And once again, we've got more information here, and we can click on any of these, and again, we have the cards coming up. This one here, a good one, because we're thinking of the temperature on different planets, the average temperature. Here we have our trump cards. We can either have a couple at a time and get rid of the others or whatever. Here, astronomers in a dilemma. This is August 2006. The International Astronomers Union decided to downgrade Pluto to a small planet or dwarf planet. Why did they do that? And here we have, today I have a small tear in my eye, said Professor Ewan Williams, and he was the chairman of the committee who decided to downgrade Pluto. And what the children have to do there is to meet him, to knock on his door and find out why. So there's a lot of debating issues there, comprehension, debating, and crossing into literacy from science. And again, which planet? We've seen that one before. Here, another one on that, and another activity here. Happy birthday to you, depending on how old they are on Earth. That's assuming they're 100 years old to make it a bit easier to do the calculations. Here, January the 19th, 2012, Stargazer discovers a new planet whilst watching Stargazing Live. And what do the children have to do? Well, they pretend that they were there, and it was a local school pupil who discovered the new planet. And once again, an interesting activity for the children. And I believe we are now back to the beginning, and there we are, light, sound, and the earth and beyond.